Do you ever find yourself in this position? You get your first audio interface and plug in your guitar and then don't know what to do next. Then you go on YouTube and search up for some good free amp sims. And then you find a few that you like. Then you try them and get stuck with a sound that you hate, and then keep searching for new amp sims, trying to find the tone that you want. You get stuck in this loop forever, not being able to find that one tone that makes you happy. Hi, I'm ObsessionNZ and I'm here to help. Today, I'm going to show you the top free amp sims and how to use them, so that you don't have to spend relentless hours searching for a tone that makes you happy, just like I have. Just a disclaimer, you might not find exactly what you want, but it will hopefully help you find your tone. This is all my opinion, so the amps here might not be the best free amps listed in other places. If you enjoy this video, or if you enjoy any of my music, that you can go support me in my Bandcamp, that will be linked down below in the description. Thank you, and let's get back to the video. First up we have my personal favourite, TSEX50. I use this amp currently on my music, and it is a great amp for rock and metal. It has a simple interface which makes dialing in the tone simple and intuitive. This amp doesn't come with a cabinet, so I will be using NAD IR from Ignite amps. This applies to all the other amps I will be using. This amp also has a paid version with a cab, effects pedal, and rack section, but only the amp comes with a free version. Sadly, this amp doesn't support Mac anymore, but it is fully compatible with Windows. So now let's get into looking at the amp settings. First we're going to have a look at the cab, because that's what gives it most of its tone. I'm running ML Sound Labs Best IR in the World, Parallel. Just for future reference, all of the stuff that I use in this video and all of the IRs will be linked down in the description below. So I've got those two cabs running, just some basic settings down here, not too much. But now let's get onto the amp. So we have the pre-gain set at 5, low end set at nearly about 6, mid just below 4, highs just about to 6, post gain at 4, low end at just above 6, and presence just above 4. And at the back we have stereo on, high quality on, MK2, preamps on, power amps on, and 6L6 for power tubes. Now I recommend that you use some sort of overdrive as well, just to give it a little nudge, because that's what you really want in your high gain tones with these free amps. So I'm using Dr. Drive there just as my overdrive. So I recorded a riff already, and let's have a listen to the riff with the amp. That's a pretty good tone, I feel, for modern metal and a lot of other subgenres of metal, including deathcore, maybe even some doom. But I think that tone could go a long way, and it's really nice and full and punchy if you stereo pan your guitar tracks. Now let's get on to the next amp. Now we have Ignite Amps Emissary. This was the amp I used before I got the TXCX50. The Emissary has a few more features than the previous amp, including a bright, deep, and shape switch. This helps you forge your perfect tone even better, though it can be a little bit overwhelming when it was first looked at. Now let's set this one up. Firstly, we have the IR, same as last amp, and then I just have an overdrive here to give that little push that it needs. Now onto the amp. I'm using my own preset here. Lead chug and lead modern sound pretty good. Now we have the channel put onto the red switch, also known as the dirty or lead. So we have gain just below 9, bright switch on, bass just above noon, deep switch off, low mids at 9, high mids at noon, shape switch on, treble just below noon, then the dirty or lead master at noon, depth at around 10 o'clock, and presence all the way up. This is what it sounds like. Sounds pretty good. I use that, as I call it, my gent tone, because I feel like it's not giving that metalcore punch that the other amp gave. So I'll use this if I'm doing any fast kind of rhythmic stuff. Now onto the last amp. Last but not least is ML Sound Labs Amp Roots. This was the first VST amp that I ever used. It has way more features than the two amps, including an inbuilt cab, pedal board, and tuner.
This is the perfect choice for someone who is starting out in the VST world and wants to get an all-in-one VST. Now to set this last one up. I'm using Ignite Amps NAD IR again, but this time I'm using a different IR on each of them. This was a trick that Frightbox Recording gave to me, where you have one cab on one side and one cab on the other side. It kind of separates them apart and gives them a more spacious feel so you get that bigger tone. So I'll link these down in the description. Then we also have the drive, just the same settings as last 2 times. I won't show you those settings, but if you want to see how I set up my drive, request that in the comments and I'll see if I can make a short about it. Now onto the amp. I have the input set at around 10, gain just above 2 o'clock, low just below noon, mids at 11, highs just above 1, presence nearly at 3, volume at noon, output at noon. Then what you have to do to get this desired sound is you have to bypass both the speakers in the cab section so that it's not making a wall of sound with the 2 amps stacked on top of each other. This is how it sounds. Now as you can hear, that sounds a lot different than the other tones did sound to each other. That's because this one's kind of a more old school tone. It sounds a little bit more scooped. I feel like it would be a cool tone to kind of experiment with and use in some new metal or some old stuff. So there are the best free amp sims and how to use them. I only cover distorted tones in this video, but if you would like to see a video on the best free clean amp tones, mention it in the comments. I will be linking everything I used in this video in the description. If you have any questions or ideas for videos you want to see, leave them down below in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching and goodbye.